in position. All right. Seeing people joined in. All right. All right, guys. Hey, guys. Garrett Bryan, and we are back with another YouTube Live once again, as we do every single week. So really happy to have all of you guys in here. Super stoked. Again, as we start to go through, the motions, be sure to leave questions that you may have down below in the stream. I am happy to answer all of your questions, whether it's, tools, whether it's, mechanic stuff, whether it's work on your own car, project cars, whatever it may be. Feel free to leave all your questions that you may have down below as everyone starts to begin and get situated. So really happy to have you guys here. Hope your guys' week has been as great as mine. And the weather's getting pretty hot where I am at. So yeah. So again, leave your questions down below as you guys start to join in on this YouTube Live. I am happy to answer all of them. Now, if you guys don't have any questions at the beginning, I don't get enough questions in the beginning of this, I will go ahead and answer a lot of the questions that you guys have left on my post. And happy Friday, Mark Olson. Really cool to see you here, man. But hey guys, I'm seeing a lot of you guys join in. Be sure to leave your question down below and I'll go ahead and get to answering them. Again, I have plenty of questions right here to go off of if you guys are shy or if you guys are just typing it out and need some time to prepare to get your questions in order. But nonetheless, really cool and hyped to have you guys here. So if there's no questions just starting out yet, I'll go ahead and start getting into it because I don't like to waste too much time. Don't like to waste your guys' time, so let's go into it straight up. So one of the iconic questions that I always get asked when it comes to mechanics and car stuff in general is the routes for buying tools when you are a mechanic. Whether you're starting out as a mechanic, whether you're starting out as a DIY guy, a lot of people ask, what's the best route when it comes to actually getting into the scene, And I love to tell people, you gotta try it. You just gotta not go overboard and get the best of the best everything. You really just gotta ease into it when it comes to tools. And hi, Fess. Yeah, nice to see you, man. Hello, Forking Around. Really cool to have you guys here. If you guys have questions, leave it down below. But yeah, as I was saying, there's definitely certain routes to take. You don't want to go overboard and just waste like thousands of tools. I mean, money on tools that realistically you might not even need, So it's just really something to think about. Hey, how's it going? And I'm a gunsmith, and I bought all expensive tooling. I regret it. Yeah, see, I mean, you're a gunsmith, and you already realize, with almost any hobby or any like work thing in general, you don't want to just splurge on the wrong things. And a lot of time, everything's wrong. You know what I mean? It's just like a common thing. Everyone will think, hey, more money will solve everything, and it just won't. One of our first questions is tips on how to build confidence as a mechanic. The best way to build confidence as a mechanic is experience. And I know that's counterintuitive. I know it kind of goes against most things because how can you be confident if you don't have enough experience? Well, the more experience and more stuff you put yourself in, the more confident you'll be in tackling situations. When I was a beginner mechanic, when I was just getting started in the field and just working on my own car, I was very not confident. I didn't know what I was doing, this and that. And it was really, really rough. But the more you get yourself out there, the more you look at YouTube videos and try to figure out, hey, just look at a bunch of YouTube videos on how to do the thing you're trying to tackle, or a bunch of YouTube videos on different jobs. Even though, it might be your first time seeing someone do an engine build or seeing someone do this, you want to get yourself familiar. The more familiar you are with things, the more confident you're going to be. That's why more experience for yourself is better, and it's going to make you a lot more confident. So the key to confidence is getting more experience, but not only that, be confident in yourself. Have the mindset that you're gonna get it done. If you think you're not gonna get it done, you're not gonna be confident. It's not gonna show. It's gonna show that you're not confident. AB has a question. I have a 2009 Honda Accord. Customer states they were driving at 65 miles per hour when the music got staticky and the battery light came on, and the dash lit up like a Christmas tree. I checked battery, and it's good. That's very weird. That's very odd. Honestly, I check ground and stuff. If every light on the dash went up, wait, instead of the battery light came on. If the battery light came on, that usually means that it might be an alternator going bad. You know, usually as soon as the battery light and the brake light go out, like they turn on at the same time, or just a battery light, it almost always means it's a charging system issue. Now, the alternator could be bad. It could be a ground going to the alternator. It could be the serpentine belt just snapped, you know, and shredded itself while driving. It could have been you went over a rock, and when you went over that rock, it broke a ground. Like, there's so many things it could be, but it sounds like your charging system might be bad. You know, charging system or ground. Check that out, and you know, it might lead you down the right route. Norman Gunworks says, I hate working on cars in the cold. The parts are freezing and I prefer heat with my Japanese air conditioning vest. That's cool. There's a Japanese air conditioning vest. I gotta look that up later, actually. I didn't even know they had air conditioning vests. But that's very, oh crap, what did I do? What did I do with that? Sorry, I just did something on accident. Okay. That's very weird. I don't know what I did with that comment. Anyway, working in the cold is one of the worst things to do. If you're working on cars, working on cold is the worst. I don't care what anybody says. You know, you can work in the heat no matter what, but in cold, you'll get in the negative degree weather, you can't feel your hands at all. It doesn't matter how much you bundle up. You need to use your hands, you know, and you can glove up as much as you want. You're still going to be frozen. So I hate working in the cold. I've worked a lot of times in the cold in the parking lot in negative degree weather. Not a fan, but I'd rather be in the heat than in the cold. I don't know how you guys feel. Feel free to tell me down below. AB says, customer spaced that artery anyway. I checked the main fuse. Car does not turn on or light up any lights when turning the key except the horn and the hazard lights. The battery terminals are tight. Damn, and you checked the main fuse. Yeah, usually it's always the main fuse. It sounds like maybe a ground issue. I check the ground because sometimes if you don't have proper ground anymore or that ground broke off or it's really rusted, you're not going to get any power to the car. Again, it's hard to diagnose like over video, but I'm doing my best, you know, just sending you a direction you could do. Can I change head gasket without specialized tools? Newman, tell me what kind of car it is. But for the most part, yes, you can change the head gasket with not specialized tools. The only specialty tool that you're going to need for a head gasket most likely is a torque wrench. You want to do the exact torque spec when it comes to doing a head gasket. But for the most part, everything you don't need. You know, tell me what car it is so I can maybe dig deep into it. Some cars require specialty tools. Sometimes you can get around it, but nonetheless, you don't need specialty tools, you know. And plus, if you don't have money to buy a torque wrench, you can go to the local auto parts store and they will rent you a torque wrench. Essentially, you'll pay for it in full price. When you finish using it, you bring it back and they give you your money back. It's, you know, a loan-a-tool system. David Parker said, hey mate, Saturday morning down here in Australia, love your channel. Hey, nice to hear you're from Australia over there. That's really cool. That's Saturday morning, and glad you joined us in this Saturday morning for you. So that's cool. Eluna says, thank you, good to see you, and I'm happy to help. No problem, I'm really happy to help. Jonathan Pinson said, how did you learn all your awesome tips and tricks? Combination of just having to find out solutions. Wait. Is it a combination of just having to find solutions to problems and figuring it out? Did you learn a lot from others at different shops? Yeah, it's a mix of everything. So I mean, like, I want to say 70% of the stuff that I show you guys, 70-80% is all that I learned on my own in the field. You know, I didn't have the proper tool, or let's say I had the proper tool, but it was all at home or at my shop, and I was at home working on my car, and I had to get it done, and I didn't have money to go buy a tool, or it was midnight or 2 a.m., and I couldn't run to the store because I needed this car for work. You know, so a lot of these tips and tricks that I showed you, I did it myself. I did it in a parking lot at 2 a.m. I did it in the freezing cold. You know, all this that I showed you, I learned on my own. But there's a lot of really good mechanics, old school mechanics I've learned from. I've learned from my master mechanic uncle. I've learned from my dad. I've learned from my grandfather. I learned from other, techs. Sometimes I've learned maybe one thing I didn't think of, and they did something. I'm like, wow, I wish I thought of that. So it's definitely a combination of me. In my experience, I had to get it done. I didn't have the proper tool, and I had to think of a way to get it done because I had to get it done. And then a lot of it was learning from other people as well. But having that mindset's really going to get you far in this field. Let's see the next one. The actor O2. Yo, shout out from the Honda man from PR. Hey, how's it going, man? Shout out to you, brother. Yak Fishing says, sup, B. I was expecting to come looking for you. Hey, glad to see you here, man. Awesome to have you here. I'm really glad that you joined up the stream. All right, let me see. AB says, does it matter whether the alternator is good or not to start the car if the battery is already at 12.76 on the multimeter, but nothing turns on, is completely dead? Alternator doesn't matter. Guys, if you have an alternator that's bad, it doesn't matter if it's bad. The car will start no matter what. Once it starts, then it's going to die because the alternator wants to kill it, because the alternator's not working, essentially. But if it's completely dead, again, it's probably a ground, or, the main fuse is bad, probably. But maybe clean up the terminals and the thing where the main fuse goes into. Check that out. Check any of your other main power cord supply, like to the starter, probably not the starter. If you're not getting any dash lights, it might be a wiring gremlin. So definitely check that out. It might be something sorted out, something's touching, but check all your fuses and your main relays. What's the most reliable transmission you've personally seen, and how many miles? Most reliable transmission. Honda transmission. Oh, no, actually, I take that back. Honda transmissions I like. They're nice. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's Honda and Toyota. I'd say Honda and Toyota. I'd say Honda and Toyota, honestly. Those have been the best transmissions that don't generally have too many problems. Obviously, no car is immune, though. How long have you been turning wrenches? Says Forking Around says, how long have you been turning wrenches? I've been turning wrenches professionally for about like 7 years now. So not, I'm still like, fresh. I'm not overly seasoned, but I definitely have a good amount of years in to this field. So about 7 years, but plenty of learn. I got plenty to learn. Don't worry. We all have plenty to learn every day. Let's see another question. Thanks for your help. I'll look into it. No problem. What city are you a mechanic in? I am in the Illinois area, if that helps you out. The things, okay, Yak Fisson says the things that you could come up with when you're stuck in a truck and a car that's got to go on a rack. And that's the big thing, guys. A lot of people, will say, hey, just get the right tool. Stop doing all this, ghetto stuff or whatever. Just get the right tool. And it's not about getting the right tool. If everyone, that it doesn't take, you don't have to be Einstein to figure out, let's get the proper tool to get the job done. You got to think outside of the box. If you stay in the mindset of, always get the proper tool, you'll never grow as a mechanic or, in this field. You have to think outside of the box, because a lot of times, even with the proper tools, something might not go well. You need to think outside the box so you can further go about the mechanic field, whether it's diagnosing or whether it's working a car. You have to be very innovative. You have to think outside of the box. Okay, it's true. It's true, guys. Let's see. Yak Festing, thanks for that. Yeah, I'm really glad that you're here, and that's really cool that you love the channel. And yeah, I love having fun in these streams, honestly. These streams are really fun for me, guys. And if you have any questions, be sure to leave it down below. I'm trying to answer it as quick as I can. If you want any of your questions expedited, just make sure it's a super chat and it gets boosted to the top. It forces it to the top of the screen. Forking Around says, if a mechanic wanted to start investing in good tools, what tools or tool brand is worth it to, what tools or tool brand is it worth it to invest into? So I'd say, oh wait, investing in good tools. What tools on our okay, so I'd say invest in a very good impact gun. This is if you're a mechanic. If you're a straight up being a mechanic, this is what you need to invest into. Invest into a good impact gun, a great impact gun, because you're going to be beating this up and using it on a daily basis. Get a good breaker bar, a long breaker bar, not the comfort grip one. You want to get a long one with a thin handle so you can get like a bar on it if you need to. A good torque wrench. I'm gonna say all the tools you need to invest in, and then I'll tell you what brand. A good flex head ratchet, and ratchets in general, some good sockets. But yeah, I'd say those are good tools that you need to invest in. Now, what tool brand to go with? That's hard to say. So I use different brands for everything. Milwaukee is a leader in one of the leaders that's affordable and not too expensive, but not too cheap. Or a good in between brand. So Milwaukee is definitely one of my go tos. I'd say Milwaukee, DeWalt, both of those going hand in hand. Both good brands. So both of those are good for impact guns. I wouldn't go something with Snap-on. You can, but I wouldn't invest in that unless you really just like the brand, you like the specs, and you really want to go into it. Go for it. But Milwaukee and DeWalt for sure. Now hand tools, Vim Tools is a very great. They make really great ratchets. I love Vim Tools' ratchets. Mac makes good ratchets as well. Anything Matco is a rebrand, guys. So anything that Matco makes is rebranded other than their tool boxes. Just so you know. So sometimes if you can do research and find out who makes, let's say, Matco's ratchet. So you can get something like Gear Wrench instead. So I'd say invest in Mac. I'd say invest in Milwaukee and DeWalt. I'd say invest in if you ever do go Snap-on, Snap-on's hand tools are high tier. They're going to cost you a pretty penny, but if you can get them used on the market, like on Facebook Marketplace, it's a steal if you get them there. Electric ratchets, I'd go with Milwaukee again, and I'd go with DeWalt. But that's just my preference. But yeah, those are just some things to think about. Those are really good tool brands to think about. Gear Wrench makes some good stuff. Cornwell makes some good stuff. But I'd shy away from Snap-on a little bit. Just maybe get select things from Snap-on. Snap-on isn't the end-all be-all, and it's for sure not worth all the pricing. A UB says, "Hi Brian, Milwaukee has a 1/2 inch and a 3/8 stubby impact that claims 550 nut busting torque. Is it true? And would it be the same strength?" So yeah, it's true because I mean I have my buddy has one, and I've used it and it's freaking awesome. Now I think Torque Test made a video on it. I think it might have been off by 50 or a few points regardless, but nonetheless, it's a very powerful impact gun that can tackle anything that you give at it. Now, keep this in mind, guys. When you get a 1/2 inch impact and a 3/8 impact, you're going to be able to transfer a lot more torque in general through the 1/2 inch. You're just better off going, if you want more power application to the part that you're doing, I always go with 1/2 inch. 3/8 I just use for light zipping. I have a 400 foot-pound DeWalt that's stubby. It's nice, and I use it for zipping a majority of things. But when I need something that's very tight, I always have a 1/2 inch impact gun. Who was Chris R says who was my mentor? I have a lot of mentors. I have a lot of people who have taught me throughout the years. I've learned a lot from my dad. My dad was a painter, but his dad was a mechanic, and my dad works on car. He got me into the car realm. He helped me work on my first project car, which was a 1988 Toyota Corolla. So yeah, my dad was definitely one of my mentors. My uncle was one of my mentors. He's a master mechanic. He's a very good mechanic. He teaches me, one of those things that when it comes to work, if you're going to work on a car, you want to give it your all. You actually want to give your 110%. You really want to go above and beyond, and you'll be proud of the work that you do, so he taught me that. But I have a lot of mentors, guys. The list goes on, but Bravo Django, thanks for the super chat. He says, how do I DIY a Mercedes-Benz if the immobilizer stopped the car? Because The original key burned in a house fire and the new key set off the immobilizer. You have to get it reprogrammed to the car. So either you have to go directly to Mercedes to get them to program that key to the immobilizer, I mean to the car, or else it's going to keep setting it off and it won't turn on. Now, some scan tools allow you to, maybe reprogram your key to that. I'm not sure if they'll work for Mercedes. I do a little bit of digging and research into it, but there's some advanced scan tools that can help you reprogram the key to, that Mercedes. But regardless, that key needs to be reprogrammed, or else it's always going to be keep doing that. All right, so Hightower says, "Hello, Brian. Best floor jack under $300. Easy, easy, easy. Harbor Freight has a 2-ton floor jack." That is, I bought it. I had a coupon. It was like I think $110, but usually they're $140. 2-ton jack, and it's slim profile, so it has a nice slim profile, and it's awesome. I'd have this in my car all the time when I used to do mobile mechanic work. It's not too heavy. It's a little bit heavy, but not too heavy like all the other beefy ones. But by far, Harbor Freight is the best. I'd say they're the leading ones with their jacks, their floor jacks. So. All right, guys, let's see. Yes, that's exactly the one I was talking about, Yubi. Chris R, troublemaking pups. Yep. Brian, are you working at a dealership or a side shop? I am not working at a dealership. I am working at a shop. Yes, okay, so Yubi, the 2-ton aluminum, low profile with rapid pump. I don't like the aluminum jacks. If you're doing mobile mechanic work, do not get them. In my opinion, if you're working on a flat driveways, okay. But the problem is if you keep stressing 2-ton aluminum, like in general aluminum jacks out. If you're working on a hill and you're trying to jack it up, eventually you're going to make that aluminum bend. Now, if you're in a garage, doesn't matter. You can use that all day, all day. But when you're a mobile mechanic, I would not recommend using an aluminum one unless it's a very solid, high quality one. Even then, you want to avoid like jacking it up if it's on like a hill or a slant. It comes with the territory. So trust me, I've had the aluminum jacks and I bent the aluminum jacks because of that. So yeah. All right, so let's see. 2-ton enough for trucks. I think they make a 3-ton, so I'd say go with the 3-ton when it comes to trucks. But I've used that on some trucks. I'm not gonna lie. I've used a 2-ton on trucks before, so you can do it with it. But I'd recommend a 3-ton. Silver interior with dark blue frame. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, silver. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I had that one. All right. Hey, Jonathan Pinson says, do you film the shorts you do? Seems like you get great shots while also using both hands. Does someone else film for you, or do you have some setup that helps you? I film all my reels. 99.5% of my reels are all by me. The only times I don't have it filmed by me is when I forget my tripods. But I have gears, I have tripods, I have neck mounts and stuff, so I could, film perfectly. But sometimes I'll forget at home, sometimes I'll forget at shop, whatever it may be. So I'll have, my fiance film, or I have my coworker film, or my boss film, whatever it may be. But that's pretty much how it goes. Jay Norris says, "What's up, my car bros? What's up, man? How's it going, man?" Jose Flores says, "Is it better to change a broke wheel lug stud or a whole wheel hub?" If it's just one stud, just replace the stud. Now, on some cars, it can be a pain in the butt to change. So I get it. Sometimes if it's easier to just change out this whole spindle, just change out the whole spindle. But if it's just one stud, just change it out. If all the other ones are very rusted, then I just replace the whole thing. The Actor 02 says, "Hi, boss. How's it going, man? How's it going? Good to see you here, man. Happy you're in the stream." And hey, as you guys join in, feel free to put your questions down below. If I don't, I'll try to get to all the questions as quick as I can. But if you want your question expedited to the very tippity top, be sure to leave a super chat. Also, since you guys are here, if you want links to any of the tools that I use in my video, I linked it to the top of this chat and in my YouTube channel description. Also, any merch that I have, it is on there as well as all my social medias like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. All right, let's answer the next question. I know I missed some up here because it got buried. Uh, when do we? Okay, so watch your something says, enjoying the stream so far. That's really cool that you're enjoying the stream so far. When do we expect to see a step-by-step video on how to replace a clutch? And in the meantime, what book or resources you recommend on how to service a clutch? Now, YouTube is your best friend when it comes to servicing clutches. They make so many videos on multiple different cars, and I will be making a good how-to video on that as well. Now, I'm going to try to make it soon. You know, right now it's a little bit of work life, work, YouTube, daughter balance. So it might be a minute. I'm trying to get to it soon. I actually have to service a clutch very soon. So hopefully, if I have enough time, I can do a step-by-step guide on how to do that. It's just obviously long form videos take a lot longer to do, especially if I'm in a time crunch. So when I'm in a time crunch, it's a little bit harder. But if I have somebody else like a cameraman, I actually might do it. So hopefully very soon I'll have one for you. So let's see any other questions that I may have missed. Henrique says, what do you deal with? What do you deal with? A water pump engine case is messed up. Can you reword that question? Because I'm not, what do you deal with? A water pump engine case is messed up. Okay, can you retype that question? I'm a little bit confused about your question. How do you deal with a water pump engine case? So how do I deal with a water pump when the engine case is messed up? Like, is the engine case broken? Soprano says, enjoy your videos, brother, and thank you. All the way from New Jersey. That's cool. You said you are a mechanic in Illinois. Are you by Chicago? Something like that, around there. Jeffrey says, what's up? You ever get so upset with a job and have to walk away? Yes, that is my entire career as a mechanic. Having to get up and walk away, or just get up, throw the tour, just get up and be like, just pause for a good long 5 minutes. Or if you're under the car and you're just under there laying, like, the delay of silence when you cross your legs and everything, guys. All you guys know it when you're a mechanic or working on cars. But yes, a lot of times that happens. I had that happen, I think even yesterday. It happened yesterday. It happens very often. And sometimes you just got to walk away. Sometimes I'll go on break early. You know what I mean? So that's what I'll do, Are you... The actor L2 says, are you going to show everyone your blue baby? Yes, that's actually going to be at the end of the stream, as long as it does not rain, because it looks like it's going to rain. But I'll be showing you guys a surprise at the very end of the stream, which is in around 30 to 40 minutes. So be sure to stick around to the end of the stream so I can tell you a really cool surprise that you guys helped me get to. So, all right. So let's see. He probably in Peoria, or hey, don't be saying my business, buddy. Not joking. So AUB says ample cursing and asking the bolt not to be a yes, literally that. All right. So let's see what's up. What other questions I may have missed? I don't want to miss any of your guys' questions. So, Jay Norris says, question specific on a Toyota FJ Cruiser. I recently changed the front brakes and both ended up needing calipers changed as well. That seemed kind of odd. Did I do something wrong? Is that common? If you're in a rust belt, it's common. It happens. I did it. It wasn't on an FJ. I haven't worked on FJs. But in general, like with cars that are older or whatever, it happens pretty often if it's in the rust belt, especially if people wait to do it at the very end. So like if they just run their brakes to the very edge, there's no pad left. What happens is that caliper is how do I say it? It's extended very far, and it's staying in that position for a good amount of time, and it's trying to brake with a little braking force. So what happens if you're in the rust belt? It's overextended and it will shut up. It's overextended and it will essentially mess up the calipers, because they'll just stay seized and they'll not want to depress back, because a lot of people waited to the very end to service their brakes. So it happens very often. And hey, how's it going, Carson? Nice to see you here in the live again. So Paul's tour review says, I think Matco rebrands Astro nano sockets and nano socket wrench. They are similar. Yeah, they do. Like I said, Matco rebrands almost every single tool that they don't make their own tools, you know? And yeah, so if it's pretty close, what they probably did, it's literally the same tool. They probably tweaked a little bit. A lot of brands, or especially Matco, will do this. They'll take the tool, they'll shave it down, they'll put their name on it, they'll print it, all that, maybe even put a soft grip on it, whatever it may be. But Matco, they're rebrands, you know? What is the what is the most reliable car down there? Huh? That's hard to say. I'd say it's the typical Honda Civic and Toyota Corolla, but the problem is, I want to tell you guys one thing. There's reliable cars, but it's all down to the owner that had it. You know, Toyotas and Hondas are super reliable, but they can just be just as unreliable as any other car. Why I say this is because the previous owner, the previous owner will think it's bulletproof, it's fine. I don't have to change the oil, I don't have to change the coolant, I don't have to do this. And let's say you get it. I got a Honda Civic before. It was so unreliable because the previous owner did not take care of it. They didn't change the head gasket. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. And I just got a plethora of problems. And same happened with a 98 Corolla I had. It's problem after problem after problem. These cars are very reliable, but the problem is when you guys miss like service intervals, like the timing tensioners or head gaskets, a car can only take so much. It needs to be serviced. So just think about that. Those cars are very reliable. Hey, Brian, would you kick someone down the stairs for your dream car? Bro, I would do the Sparta kick for my dream car. Henrique says, thanks, dear. No problem. So Yak Fiston says, yes, you got to take care of your car's health. No car is negligence proof. Yeah, exactly. You have to take care of a car. Obviously some cars are more bulletproof than other cars, and some cars can take way more abuse than other cars. But yes, no car is bulletproof. All right, guys, if I missed any of your questions, be sure to leave it down below. Did not mean to miss it. And if you want any of your questions expedited, be sure to put a super chat for it. Jose Flores says, how hard is it to change a VTC actuator on a Honda? I forget what a VTC actuator is. Are you talking about the VTEC solenoid actuator on the Hondas? And what kind of Honda is it? This is Sparta, exactly. Hit the like button, guys. Yes, Mark Olson said it right. Guys, if you are enjoying this stream, be sure to hit the like button. And if you enjoy any of my shorts or YouTube shorts that I do, and there's tools that you may have liked on there, I linked all the tools on the top of the chat, and it's also in my YouTube channel description if you're watching this on replay. I love all you guys, and thank you guys for being in the stream. Again, be sure to put your questions down below. And what's up, Jace? How's it going? Jay Nor says, was gonna super chat, but my PayPal messed up. Gonna try and fix it while you're still on live. Oh, okay. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate that. Scott Patterson says, have you ever driven high speed on a NASCAR track? Not on a NASCAR track. No, I've not driven on a high speed NASCAR track. I've been to a NASCAR track. I'm actually going to go to the track with my buddies next month. So that'll be fun. It'll be a very fun event. Maybe I'll do a long form video on it. So that'll be fun. LT Ray says, bro, so many of your tips have helped me, and I've bought a lot of useful tools that make working on cars a lot easier. That's so cool, man. Thanks for the compliment. I'm really glad that all my videos help you out. And yes, a lot of tools that I show you guys, they're very helpful. And, they're all tools that I use and that have helped me in a, very hard jam. And they're very affordable tools because I be broke. I can't afford really big tools sometimes. So I'd rather, get tools that are very worth the price rather than just paying for a overpriced tool. Now, Jay says, agreed, love your tips. Thank you. I haven't done a 2010 cam phaser, so I'm not too sure. But I know they make some very helpful YouTube videos on it. I just haven't come across the cam phaser on those. I second your helpful tips. Thanks, Scott Patterson. I really appreciate it, man. Again, guys, be sure to leave your questions down below. I'll actually scroll up the chat, make sure I didn't miss any questions. If I do miss your questions, be sure to re-ask them or super chat them. Okay, I don't think I missed any questions. Okay, T. Bayek says, 2013 Chevy Malibu bolt broke inside the engine. How do I get it out? It is a VVT solenoid. Remind me, how accessible is that? It's been I think it's been a couple years since I worked on with the VVT solenoids on those cars. But remind me, how accessible is it? And then I can help you answer that question. Super chat. Hold on, let me go to check that super chat. Okay. Jay Nor, it's not much, but for all the advice I've got from you, brother. Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate the super chat. You know, I really appreciate you leaving that, man. It means the world to me, and I'm really glad that I can help you and that you enjoy all my tips and tricks, you know? So really cool to and really cool to have you on the stream, man. Scott Patterson says, can you show helpful tips for drum brakes? I apologize if you did and I missed the video. Yes, I did do a video on drum brakes. So maybe I'll try to do I gotta see how long ago it is. It might have been 2 years ago. If it's old, I'll try to do either another similar video, or if I maybe didn't post it on YouTube, but I posted on a different social media, I'll repost it to here. But yeah, I have some drum brake videos. So maybe try guys, if you ever have let's say you need a specific job that you need done and you need a tip or trick for it, try doing gearhead brine and then brakes. So search up Gearhead Brian and then whatever it is on YouTube, and most likely my YouTube short's going to pop up for it. So if you have a question on sway bar links or you need a trick for it, Gearhead Brian, sway bar links, and it'll pop up. I also have playlists. I'll update the playlist, but yeah, you know. Jay Nor, next up, giving advice to change my PCV valve. You said PIC valve on my Toyota Camry. Yeah, I knew you meant PCV valve. Getting advice. What year Toyota Camry is it? I might have worked on it. I've only worked on the older ones though. Do you? Yeah, you messed up for that. The actor L2 says something. Do you give girls the tip? You are funny. LT Ray. Okay, so wait. Actually, before I answer that question, let me answer Jay Nor's 2011. I'm trying to remember. PCV. Is it a V6? Is it a hard to access engine? Like, you know, usually if it's a hard to access engine, you just have to maybe I know it's common sense, whatever, but trying to as a mechanic, you want to give yourself as much breathing room for working on your car. So if you're working with a PCV valve that's really behind the engine and you're trying to work, but yeah, exactly, V6. So if let's say the PCV valve is really by the firewall, you have to open up room for yourself so you can make it a lot easier. So if you have to remove the intake and all this crap, it's going to help you, get a better angle at this thing. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I worked on the V6, so I'd have to probably look at a picture of the engine bay and then look at it later. But yeah, so they definitely make YouTube videos for it, man. It's just been a minute. It's hard to describe over live stream. All right, so next question. LT Ray says, your video about the extractor sockets was a lifesaver. I was changing lower ball joints on my 2000 Tacoma, and there are 4 bolts that hold them, and all of them were over tightened and stripped. Yes, that's always how it goes, man. That's why I like to show you guys really cool tools that'll help you out. I love showing tips, but I love showing you guys tools that I didn't know about, and a lot of you I know don't know about. So yeah, those extractor sockets come in clutch all the time. I also have tips on how to do it if you don't have the money to cough up extractor socket. Gear, what's it called? Grip Edge makes the best extractor sockets by far. No problem, JNR. No problem, man. Cam says, actually, before I answer Cam's question, guys, if you have any questions, be sure to start listing them down below so I can go ahead and get to it. If I didn't answer your question already, just drop it again below and I'll try to get to it. And if it piles up, again, you could always super chat. Um, so Cam says, would an engine bar work well for a cradle swap? Oh, I know what you're talking about. I was gonna use a cherry picker, but the table cart won't fit under with the cherry picker. Yeah, a high quality engine bar would work for it. Yes, very high quality. Do not cheap out and get cheap stuff. I've seen cheap ones bend or try to bend. Get a good quality engine bar to hold it up, and you'll be fine, And make sure the motor mounts are connected where they are connected. If it's to the chassis, leave them. However, if you can't go with if you want to still use the engine cradle, what I'd recommend is getting the engine cradle. I mean, jacking the car pretty high up, getting the engine cradle, jack up hold the engine, and then for the subframe, you can just let's say put a piece of wood underneath it, put something to catch the subframe, and then wheel it out, or get something to wheel it out. So that's what I'd recommend. LT says, "What is the?" Yeah, I forgot it. Hope it helps. Yeah, I forgot to say that in the live streams, guys. Hope it helps. What is the worst car you have ever worked on? I say this in every live because I swear everyone always asks that question. It is Audi. Audi is the worst car that I've ever worked on. You're welcome, Cam. Audi is the worst car that I've ever worked on, and it's the most trauma I've had for cars. I've had so much damage from Audi to my body too. I've broken my tooth on Audi too. It was messed up. That was a bad day. And then, but yeah, Audi is it's my kryptonite. I hate Audi so much. Would you travel outside the country to experience car culture elsewhere? For an example, like Japan. Yes. That is, oh, thank you for asking that. That was my fiance. Thank you guys for, yes, thank you. Yes, I would definitely travel all the way to Japan. That'd be awesome. I think Japan has an awesome car culture, and I definitely would love, and I mean, I would love to travel outside and go to Japan and experience their car culture. And if I have even more time, maybe just see how they work on cars. Because I love sometimes watching how people work on cars because they have a different mindset that I might not have. So I definitely want to visit Japan. So thank you for asking me that. Trouble making pups says I recommend Tecton Tools. Great company, customer service, quality imports, 30% US made, and ship same day free. Oh, I didn't know they ship same day. That's cool. Yeah, I like Tecton Tools too. They're really good. Ford Escape is the worst. Escort. I don't think I've worked on an Escort before. Audi, 4 Rings of Hell. Yes, LT Ray. Yes. Japan is amazing, Janor. Only been to Okinawa. That's awesome, man. Mark Olson, I don't want to work on another Renault. That I know. I never worked on a Renault, but that's crazy. In terms of American muscle, do you like push rods over overhead cammed V8s? For me, it's push rods all day. I think I'm a sucker for push rods. Yeah, I think I'm a sucker for push rods as well. I've never owned. Oh yeah, Scott Patterson says I've never owned a Subaru. Are they good cars and easy to work on? Yes and no. Okay, so Subarus I like because they're basically easy cars to work on until you get to 2 things. Head gaskets are a nightmare on Subarus. That's a given. And then spark plugs and valve covers are annoying as hell, but they are doable. I've done it on a Subaru STI, so they weren't the worst thing in the world, but they're a pain in the butt. Everything else is pretty much super easy. To do the alternator belt, to do the the serpentine belt, to do the alternator, EC compressor, power steering pump, the suspension, axle, everything's very easy. Everything else, super easy. But head gaskets are a complete nightmare. I hate them. But Subarus are pretty simplistic. Speaking about Japanese cars, have you seen Bozoko car? Bozo Suko. I can't even pronounce it, but yes, I have seen it. I've seen that car culture. Car culture. Volvo is the worst for me. Yeah, I actually agree with that. Volvo is definitely one of my other ones that I hate working on. It's been a long time since I worked on a Volvo, so if I had to get a Volvo and an Audi and work on them the same week, so I could be able to tell which one I hate worse. But I remember hating Volvo, especially Volvo interior is a nightmare. I had to pull a dash on a Volvo, and it was a complete nightmare. So Volvo definitely takes the cake with being a big B word. Have you ever seen an Audi's timing chain? That thing has like an S bend in it, and an LS has 2 gears and 1 chain. Literally, yeah, I hate Audi so much. Adam Omid Pana says, any tips on getting a transmission fluid level? 2010 Mazda 3 can consistently get a good read and can't tell if the tranny is slipping or overfilled. Jack the car up, get it on 4 jack stands, put them exactly in all the exact same clicks, and make sure you're on a level floor. You know, that's the best way to get best results. I don't know if that was obvious. I have Kyle Patterson? Do I have sponsors? Not really. I have some brands I like working with, you know, that I talk to, but I'm not officially sponsored now. But I do work with some brands. I reach out to certain brands to get you guys the best tools. I like reaching out to brands so I can get you guys tools that I like for you guys. But I don't have like official sponsors, you know. But I do work with brands like Vim Tools, Also Tools, Capri Tools. You know, I'm trying to think of other tool companies that I've worked with in the past. But yeah, you get the point. You know. Oh, I was in the talks of working with Gear Wrench. I love Gear Wrench as well. I was trying to get sponsored by Gear Wrench, you know. But yeah. So yep. Which adjustable hose clamp pliers would you recommend? Adjustable hose clamp pliers. Adjustable hose. I'm trying to think of a good brand. Elijah says, who would you want to be your sponsor? That's a really, really good question. I would want, yeah, I definitely want Gear Wrench to sponsor me. I'd want Harbor Freight to sponsor me. I know a lot of you guys love Harbor Freight. I like Harbor Freight. There's certain things I don't like from Harbor Freight, but I would love to be sponsored by Harbor Freight, Gear Wrench, DeWalt. I love DeWalt, Milwaukee. I'm trying to think of another tool brand. Mac, but I don't know if Mac does sponsors. But yeah, I definitely would love to. Hey, Honda Civic. How's it going, man? Nothing much. Hope you're doing good. All right. Lee says, hey, man, I watched a lot of your videos. Good toast. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Yakfison says, come on, guys. Hit that like button. 19 folks in here and only 8 likes. Yep. Come on, guys. Hit that like button. We actually have 52. It's showing 52 people right now. But yeah, hit that like button. If you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to hit that like button and feel free to leave a comment and tell me how's it going, you know. Actually, everyone who's hearing this, tell me where you're watching from. Where are you guys watching from as of right now? I want to hear it. I heard someone's from Australia. I've heard some people from other places. But yeah, let's hear where you're from, you know. Tomic Posey says, hey, Brian, how's it going? How's it going, man? Really nice to see you. I'm 20. Yasin says I'm 20 right now. I want to be a mechanic. What do you think? Is it too late for learning, or is it okay to do? I'm confused. No, you're young, bro. You're young. You're really young. No, 20 is perfect. That's a perfect age to get into mechanics. You didn't have to start at 15 or something. That's a perfect age, man. So don't be worried. I know you're confused, but just start, man. You know, I'd recommend going, you know, trying to start out as an apprentice somewhere. Maybe if you see someone else working on their car, start watching them and being under their wing. But you want to get under someone's wing so you can kind of start to learn. But if you can't get underneath someone's wing or be an apprentice, just start watching YouTube videos. You know, watch people doing certain things. Try attempting new things. Go to the junkyard. Try to take apart something and put it back together, you know. There's definitely a lot of ways to go about it, and you're definitely not too old for it. And all right, let's see where you guys are watching from. All right, so we got New Jersey. We got someone from BC. How's it going? Rivers, Gary, Iowa. Nice to see you from Iowa. Let's see where else you guys. Canada. That's awesome, man. New York. We got New York. Another New York. Los Angeles, Atlanta. Hey, you're from Atlanta. That's awesome, man. If I ever visit Atlanta, I'm swinging by you. Learning with Juan. I am Puerto Rican and in the States. Awesome, man. I am Puerto Rican as well. That's really cool. We got someone in Virginia and California. You're on points with the mechanic tips. Thank you, Jeremy. I really appreciate that. Poland. That's really cool. We got someone from Poland here, guys. We got someone from Canada. Canada. Yeah, Canada, California, another California. We got Florida, New Jersey, and no problem, Digi. I'm really happy to help you. Mars. I knew we had someone from Mars, bro. I knew we had someone from Mars here. LT, Turkey. Whoa, that's insane that you're from Turkey, man. KC, Alberta, we got Calgary. Man, all these places, bro. Hey, Puerto Rican. Yep, I'm Puerto Rican, man. Swing in, bro. Hell yeah, man. As soon as I'm over there, I'm heading you up. I'm heading you up for sure, bro. Be sure to message me on Instagram. We definitely got to do a meetup, bro. That'd be cool. Learning with fonts is, I like your contact question. You look like you can speak Spanish. You also look like you could be Dominican. Yes, I understand Spanish completely. I speak little Spanish. My parents talk to me in Spanish. I understand completely in Spanish. I reply them back in English or Spanglish. And yes, I am also Dominican. I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican, so blessed, I know. But yeah, so, damn, Brian got fans everywhere. Yeah, Delaware. That's insane. You're from Delaware, Enrique. That's so cool. Bread on wheels. LOL, do you use a filter on your videos? No, I use no filters whatsoever. This is my natural, complete self. What you're seeing on screen is me. So, yeah. Let's see. Thought you were Dominican. Yes, I am Dominican, man. Dominican or Puerto Rican. I'm from the streets. on the Civic. You're funny as heck. Bronx says, have you ever worked on an RB engine? I want to so bad. If so, how do you feel about them? I'm in New Zealand. Man, no, I want to work on the RB. The RB engine, one of my dream engines. One of my dream cars is the 1999 Nissan Skyline. So that is my dream car. If you're Latino, you don't need filter, folks. Hell yeah. Bossa fan says you aren't really that good looking. Gotta be a filter. You funny as heck. Squid Fist. If you want to work on other people's cars, if you want to work on other people's cars as a job, what kind of insurance should you have? I personally don't have an insurance. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Are you talking about car insurance, like your health insurance? Is that what you're talking about? Blue Cross Blue Shield is awesome. I'll tell you that. Brian, what's your thoughts on rotary engines? Have you seen some super fast rotary? I love rotary engines. Rotary engines are awesome. My friend has rotary. I'm definitely gonna get into rotary one day. Wink. But yeah, I love rotaries, and they're awesome. I've seen some very quick rotaries. I've driven rotaries. Freaking awesome cars. They're like F1 cars. Now, he's talking about insurance to protect your job. Yeah, no, I don't really have good recommendations for that. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah. I'll definitely do some Googling and maybe do a video on that to help you guys out. How many years have you... Wait. Oh, from getting sued. Yeah, I getcha. Yeah, Yasin says, how many years have been passed in mechanics for you? You got really good tricks and knowledge, just asking. It's only been 7 years. Only 7 years. Cam says, what's your preference for V8s? Do you like push rods or dual overhead cam? Someone asked this in chat. I like push rods. I like both. I'm not really like stickler for either one. I haven't had too many V8s, so I can't really say which one. I'm used to dual overhead cams for 4-cylinder engine, so I'm a sucker for dual overhead cam car. So I love them. Opinion on best first cheap car and reliable car. Honda Civic by far. Honda Civic and Toyota Corolla, the best cars by far that you can get if you're just starting out. By far the best. So I highly recommend those. So yeah, but make sure, yeah, make sure they're not too high. If they are high mileage, make sure they have their common issues addressed ahead of time, and make sure you're on top of the oil changes. Okay, okay. Real talk. Okay, Honda Civic. Real talk. I'm going to college this fall to be an auto technician. You got any advice, words of wisdom, or something you wish you would have known sooner about the automotive industry? Thank you. So, real talk, man. I went to college for it as well. Now, if you're going to go to college for this, pay attention. Pay attention. A lot of people will go to school for this, including me. You go to school for this and you won't pay attention. You'll be like super psyched, and then a couple months go by and you're slacking. You're on your phone or you're on your computer not paying attention. Pay attention and absorb every bit of information. I know when you're in the automotive technician school for being a mechanic, you want to already get your hands dirty. You want to work on a car. You want to do an engine. Guys, there's plenty of time for that. Absorb every bit of fundamentals and how the car works and everything. Absorb everything that you can when you're in this college. You'll get your experience after college. The college isn't for how to say it, just hands-on experience. They're going to give you hands-on experience. I got hands-on experience. They helped me I rebuilt an engine, a transmission, a manual transmission, a differential, all in the school. It was great. It gave me the hands-on experience, so I knew how to rebuild it in general. But pay attention. In college, when I was in college for that, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't pay attention. That's one of my biggest regrets. I did not pay attention. I was messing around. I was drag racing in the parking lot with other people. I was drifting in the winter. I was doing a lot of crazy stuff in college. It was really fun. But I didn't pay attention enough. Eventually I did, but not enough. And a lot of people will say, guys, it wasn't worth the money. It's worth the money. A lot of you guys just need to pay attention. A lot of you guys don't. How's it going, Igna? Really happy to have you in the stream, man. That's awesome. No problem, man. Bro is fresh. Thanks, man. Let's see another question. Yeah, Honda CR-V for your first car is a very reliable car. All right, let's see. Any questions I may have missed? Let's see. Got lives going on now. Congrats. Yeah, man. Every Friday. I do this every Friday. I've done this for the last 3 Fridays, guys. Guys, if you're here for the first time, I do this every single Friday. Every single Friday, I go live on YouTube and I answer all of your mechanic questions, car questions, automotive questions, whatever it may be. I answer them. I also upload a video every single day for YouTube Shorts. So be sure to tune in, subscribe, and make sure you watch and put your notifications on for them. But yes, I do a live stream every single Friday, and I upload a video every single day. Actually, I'm doing 2 videos a day now too. So just so you know. Am I mobile? I used to be a mobile mechanic, not anymore. I used to do that. Yeah, not anymore. But those days are behind me now. I don't do mobile mechanic work. Keep up the good work, Paul P. Thank you. Appreciate it. Timing chain job. Okay, S. Rivera says F-150 5.4. Timing job done 5 months ago. Started running like crap a few weeks ago. Driver's bank is dead, but comes back every so often. They did timing under warranty. Wait, they did timing under warranty. New phaser still dead and dead on left. So is it under warranty? You took it back and it's still messed up? Let me know. Okay, so Igna says, thanks for the tips and tricks. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Igna101 says, thanks for the tips and tricks. They may be simple, but they're always welcome to make. They are always welcome to make any job easier. Can you make a video on tips when installing oil seals? Yes, I definitely will, actually. Hopefully I'll be able to do that on a car soon. Usually I just the way I do my shorts, my videos, is that it comes in based on the job that I'm doing. So that's why it's usually randomized. But hopefully soon I'll be able to go to a junkyard. Maybe I'll bring some stuff, and I'll try to install an O-ring for you. But actually, let me write that down so I can do an O-ring video. A lot of people do that. O-ring video. O-ring video. Okay, so let's see. I get your perspective. LT Ray. Oil pressure at 40. Oh, after warranty. That sucks. Still dead. Skentel says 60 degrees. That sucks. Okay, I'd say if you're going to be doing any overwork yourself, you got to put it into top dead center and take off everything, put it into top dead center, and then check your tensioners and everything. Check your tensioners, check the positioning. It might be off by a tooth, it might be off by something, but start from ground zero, put it into the correct, where the timing marks need to be at, see if it's off by a little bit, and then go from there. That's my best advice. Oil retainers, should I say? I am from Argentina, so my English. Oh, oil retainers. Oil retainers. Oil retainers. What do you mean by oil retainers? Describe what part you're talking about. I was hoping to do it without pulling the front cover. Yeah, you're gonna have to pull the front cover, man. You gotta see what's going on. You gotta see what's going on. And it's hard to describe, obviously, on stream as well. Yeah, you're gonna just have to take off the timing cover and then kind of visually inspect what's going on, put it into top dead center, and see what's going on with it. All right, guys, let's see any more questions. Soon we're going to have to end the live, but I'll try to push it to 5 more minutes, and then I could actually, guys, in 5 minutes, like 5 to 6 minutes, I'll be showing you guys a surprise. So feel free, put your question, the last one of your questions down below before I show you the surprise. But I got a surprise for you guys. I can't wait. I'm gonna show you in like 5 to 6 minutes. But yeah. So anyway, let's see if there's any questions I missed. S. Rivera says, why didn't you keep doing mobile mechanic work? Didn't you make more money? It was more stressful. So I am a full-time employee. I do YouTube full-time. Well, not full-time, but I'm a full-time employee. I am, I do YouTube, and I have a daughter that I raise full-time. So it's a lot, Mobile mechanic, I can't really do that if, I got to do my main job and YouTube and, take care of my daughter. You know what I mean? So you ain't going nowhere, B. Yeah, you're right. So YouTube brings in the extra. Not really anymore. Like when I stopped doing mobile mechanic work, I stopped doing mobile mechanic work because I have to raise my daughter. You know what I mean? And it's just I didn't make enough money to keep doing it. Well, I made enough, but it wasn't justifying like coming home at 2 a.m. or doing this or doing that, because I work 9 to 5. And then after 9 to 5, I work 5 to like whatever I finished this other job. And I was getting a lot of messed up jobs. I was getting a lot of customers not wanting to pay. And it's just not my field. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just don't do mobile mechanic work. I don't like doing mobile mechanic work like that. I've done it for like, I want to say like 4 years or more. I just don't like doing it anymore. My main job brings me in money, and then now YouTube helps me. But yeah. Yasin says, what tools should a beginner mechanic need for entry level? All right, so that would be good to know. What tools should a beginner mechanic need for? Okay, so for entry level as a beginner mechanic, you need good ratchets, a good socket set, a good set of pliers, needle nose, and regulars. You need, I'm trying to think of what else. Pry bar, some nice pry bars, some good pry trim tools, good set of screwdrivers, a good impact gun. It doesn't have to be name brand, but a good enough impact gun that's over, I want to say like 500 foot-pounds of torque. I'd say at least. Yes, vice grips too. Yes. And S. Rivera, yeah. I don't blame you for not going back to the shop. I just have a very good boss, really good guy. They're like family, love it. So I genuinely love working at my job, and that's why I like doing it. Or otherwise, I would go full-time into being a mobile mechanic. And yeah, you're making really good money for a mobile mechanic. Over here, a lot of people don't want to they don't want to pay. But not only that, I made the mistake in the past by not prioritizing maintenance items and doing like bigger jobs like engine swaps, clutch jobs, all that crap. You know, if I were to go back into mobile mechanic work, I'd prioritize, yes, getting money up front. I prioritize doing suspension work, maintenance work, work that can be knocked out quick, so you can do multiple jobs. Yeah, exactly. I don't do that. Yeah. Yeah, great money too, man. Yeah, wobble sockets for sure, man. All right, so one more question, and then I'm going to go. Yeah, my max is 4 hours. Yeah. The one more question, and then I'm going to show you guys a surprise. All right. So still could have failed. All right. Okay, Egna says like the seals that go behind the timing belts on. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I can do that. It might be a minute because it to get a job like that, but I'll try to see if I could do a job like that at the junkyard. Hey, Neon Dreams, it's good to see you. Yeah, and yes, surprise. Yes, there's gonna be a surprise. How yes, we love surprises. Yes, you do, Honda Civic. Okay, Mark Olson, a toolbox tour would be a cool long form video from you. Would be cool, Brian. Yes, I'm going to be doing a tool tour. I made a tool tour video and then I had to delete it because I messed up a lot of the footage and stuff like that. And I'm gonna redo it, so don't worry. Can you do a live tip next live? That's not a bad idea. I'll try to see if it's not raining, it's not too cold or hot. I'll try to see if I can work on a car and do a live tip video. How about that? We'll see. I feel like there was one more I was missing. All right. Okay. So I'm not going to procrastinate even more. What made you start? Dang it! This is a good question though. Oh, okay. Eric Hernandez says what? Okay, I'll answer this one. Yeah. Okay, I'll answer this one question. Okay, so what would you start doing? Okay, what made you start doing YouTube videos? They are really helpful, by the way. Thank you. So I was working with one of my coworkers, and I was showing him how to do. He was asking me how to do something, so I showed him a trick on how to do it. He's like, "Wow, man, thank you, appreciate it." I'm like, "No problem." And at this time, I was doing YouTube, but I was doing other stuff on YouTube. I wasn't doing tips and tricks. I was just trying to do YouTube, do car stuff, show people how to do this. Not a lot. And then eventually I showed my buddy again. He asked me a question. I showed him how to do it. He's like, "Damn, bro, thank you." I was like, and I just thought this was common sense, And then he's like, "Man, you used to make videos," and I'm like, and I didn't really think about it. I was like, I mean, this is all basic. Everybody knows this stuff, And then I was like, you know what? There's a lot of tips and tricks a lot of people know. I'm assuming all these people know these tips and tricks and tools, but let me just start showing people and helping people. And I started doing this when my daughter was born. So about 3 years ago, I started going all in on making videos for you guys on, how to do this stuff. So, it's been a really awesome journey. So, but yeah, I'm gonna start getting ready to show you guys a surprise. As I do that, I'll answer Scott Patterson's question because I gotta walk to, show you guys a surprise. So let's see. Best tool in the garage. My TV with YouTube. What? My TV is. Oh, okay. Best tool in the garage. I'd say my best tool in the garage. I always tell you guys this, but I love my flex head ratchets. You would be surprised. Oh, you would be surprised, but good looking out. The world needs more people like you. Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. How long does it take you to edit the short, roughly? It's half and half. Because the problem is, it's not just editing the short. I have to edit the short. I have to chop it up. I got to make sure all the footage is good. Then I got to run it through another editing software, put captions on it, because I know a lot of you guys find the captions very helpful. And then I got to, make a thumbnail for it. Then I got to make a good title for it because it's really extensive. So the entire process, like editing video doesn't take long. It probably maybe takes 5-10 minutes. But it can be up to like a 30-minute process just to post a YouTube short or more. All right, so let's show you guys a surprise. All right, so let's see any other questions. I use your tip. Okay, just so you guys know, it's a little windy, so if my audio gets bad, that's how you know. So let's see. We're on our way to show you guys a surprise. Okay. My truck keeps raving at idle. Probably check your coolant level. Make sure it's not bad, and make sure that your intake's not bad either. Hey, Garrett Bryant. Okay, what brand sockets do you use? I use Ventools. Guys, we're almost at the... Oh, wow. Someone's towing their car over here. That's crazy. Okay. So, I'm about to show you guys a surprise, and then I got to go pick up my beautiful daughter. Okay, guys? So, all right. So, thanks to you guys, I really had the honor of getting this beautiful, one of my dream cars. And here she is, guys. Look at that. Look at that stuff. Sheesh. So thanks to you guys helped me achieve getting my 2025 Honda Civic Type R. And I just really want to thank you guys so much for helping me achieve this awesome dream. Really freaking awesome, you know? So it's really cool to be able to you know, thank you for saying it's clean. Yeah, I'm really hyped I was able to finally get it. And of course, it's a six-speed manual with some, you know, beautiful steering wheel and everything. Of course, my baby seat for my baby, you know. But yeah, thank you guys so much for helping me achieve this awesome dream. It literally feels like a dream to be able to own my dream car. So thank you guys so much for helping me achieve this. And yeah, so that's pretty much the end of the live. I gotta go pick up my daughter. We see who's making all the big bang. This guy, hell yeah, Honda. Honda brand, yep, Honda Civic, let's go. That's stock, nice, yep, stock interior, man. Damn, 55K in Canada, sheesh. That's crazy. Nah, it was not that much. Stay safe. Yeah, I was under 50, holy shit. But anyway, yeah, thanks guys, I really appreciate it. And it's really awesome to be able to own my dream car. So I'm going to be here next Friday on live. So if you guys enjoyed the stream, be sure to hit that like button, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much, and thank you guys for supporting me on YouTube. And I hope this all helps.